Good morning. Welcome to today's practice. This month we focus on fascia vinyasa yoga or functional fascia yoga. And today's practice has a focus on the hips, and our hip mobility is dependent on obviously the areas below and above. And that's what we're going to slowly address until we come to a peak pose that may be familiar to you. You may want to use blocks in your practice, and you also need a towel or a blanket or like a kind of a sheet or I don't know how you call this, like a sarong that you can roll up or fold up, and you may even want to double it to make it a little bit higher. We will use that at the beginning of the class. Come to a seated position, cross the legs the unusual way to keep your body balanced. And then just for a moment with the hands on the knees, you can close your eyes or bring your gaze down onto the floor. Allow your whole body to drop towards the center of the earth. So instead of being upright and all present, I want you to just let go and kind of melt and thaw into the earth. And then from that place of softness and letting go, rise. So with your exhalation, you push your sit bones down into the floor, and do this gently. So your spine rises up and you feel like you're almost like a turtle lifting your head, coming out of a shell into a gentle length. Very soft, not strenuous. And take a moment to connect to the breath and observe where the breath travels. Which areas of your body respond to the breath, are already talking to your in and exhalations, moving with your breath. And sometimes when we're listening, we tend to tilt the head or lift the chin. See if you can bring your chin slightly back to lengthen the back of the neck. And then allow yourself to, without moving much, but lean back into your back body a little bit. So sensing your back body, maybe sending your breath into the back body. Notice how it moves with your breath, the ribs, the tissues in the upper, in the mid, and in the lower back. There may be a bit of a sliding and gliding of tissues, stretching. And then breathe into the side body. Think from the hips up towards the armpits. See if you can lengthen in your lateral bodies a little bit more, supporting your core in lifting you up. And then take your hands together in front of your heart, place the palms onto your breastbone, and pull the skin of your sternum up slightly. And then bow your head towards your hands. Take a moment to breathe in intent of softness with your soft inhalation, and maybe a letting go with your exhalation. And then release the hands, open your eyes, and take your left arm up, right arm to the floor, and reach long with your left arm, and your left ear reaches to the sky, left hip drops down to the floor. Breathe into your side body. Inhale. And let's do the other side. Left hand down, right arm up, drawing down with your right sit bone and breathing into your lateral body. Keep the head up, right chin back slightly. Make yourself taller than you are. And then come back to center. Come onto all fours, tuck your toes under if you can. And it really depends on you how much weight you can bring onto your toes. So push the big toe in, spread the other toes away from the big toe, and see if you can really reach all toes away from one another. Hands in front of you, and gently sit back onto your toes so you give your toes a little bit of a stretch here. We want mobility in the feet that will influence also the mobility of our hips. Now with the hands in front of you, your spine long, your heart reaching, gliding forward, the inhalation, pull your hands towards you and glide your heart a little bit forward. So you go into a little back extension here. And then the exhalation, you push your hands into the floor and bring your pubic bone towards you, tailbone down to the mat, and you round yourself back. But the hands stay where they are. The core is slightly engaged. And then inhale, pull onto your hands again. Unravel this active child's pose almost. And then exhale. Push the hands in, and that will push yourself into your back body. Inhale, pull. Unraveling the spine, and then exhale. Push the hands, curl the spine, drop the head. Stay here in this rounded position. Take an inhale and exhale. With the next inhalation, pull on your hands, extend the spine again, and then come onto all fours. And shift back into a child's pose, swaying your pelvis from side to side. Softening the front of the hips, the sides of the hips, and also in the back body. Just in the lower back, you have your thoracolumbar fascia influencing also the mobility of your hips. That's where the glutes and the back body, for example, glute maximus and latissimus dorsi, talk to each other. And then center your pelvis, roll onto all fours, and move into a soft down dog. Let this be a pause pose. So a moment where you melt first towards the center of the earth, soften, and then you push your feet and your hands into the floor to really activate the arms and the legs. Deep fold in the front of the hips. The heels reach back if you like, but keep it soft. So think of a stretch of 60-70%, not much. And reach the crown of the head diagonally down. And then pedal your feet if you like. Soft pedal, and keep your pelvis as still as possible doing this here. Breathing into the strength that you need in your upper body. Noticing the sensations in the hands, in the shoulder girdle. Maybe gentle pressure in the head by being inverted. Center your feet again. Roll forward into a plank. And from here, drop your knees down. Untuck the toes. And bring your towel in front of you. It's folded. So you have it here in a folded position. And I want you to make a U shape with the towel. So you will bring it, will land in a minute on the towel, and it will be right in on the bottom of our rib cage to put a little bit of pressure onto our diaphragm. So put it in front of you, take your hands over the towel, you're in your 4-point kneeling or in your tabletop position. Now shift back into an active child's pose. Inhale and exhale, curl forward onto all fours. Bend your elbows and make yourself down onto your belly and bring the towel just below your rib cage. So it's on the bottom edge, on the bottom rim of your rib cage. And you can place your head on the floor in front of you, onto your hands, stacked fists, whatever feels comfortable. Wiggle your hips a little bit so your pubic bone can settle onto the floor. And take a moment here. If this feels somehow like it's taking your breath and your nervous system will say, ooh, that's a bit much, make the towel a little bit flatter and maybe unfold it, or otherwise allow yourself to melt over the towel and allow your diaphragm to be gently opened by the pressure of the towel. The breath will massage the tissues here. It shouldn't be in any way uncomfortable. It will be sensational. And see if you can, with the exhalation, allow your whole body to drop into the floor. Your neck is relaxed. You let go of tension in your forehead, in your eyes. You breathe gently into your back ribs. And notice how this gentle extension of the hip too in the front allows you to relax the front of your pelvis. Maybe with time you notice changes in sensation in the back body as the diaphragm releases and the diaphragm interdigitates connects with your psoas that moves the spine and the legs. Psoas connects breath and walking. And then prepare to come out of this pose. So gently come onto your forearms again. Take your hands next to your shoulders and push yourself up into a kneeling plank. And shift back into an extended child's pose, or not an extended child, in a child's pose. Just gently soften the back body for a moment. And whilst you're here, draw your towel down the mat a little bit and straighten it out so it will be on hip height. Notice how your breath expands in your child's pose. Maybe there's something that has changed, opened up, given you more space. Then lift your pelvis up, roll forward onto all fours. Move yourself into a downward facing dog. Walk it out, soften it out, take a breath into the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. Do a couple more breaths like this, a deep breath into the nose, and then letting go of any tension through the exhalation. Softening, gentle touch through the breath, inhale, and exhale, letting go. Lift your heels up. Curl your tailbone down, roll forward into a plank pose. Stay here for a moment. You can always lower your knees if you need to. And bring your chin slightly in so your head doesn't droop down. Pushing strongly into the hands, reaching your heels back. And then lower the knees down, bend the elbows, and come onto the towel with your pelvis. It's right beneath where the pelvis ends, so the frontal hip bones, and it may cross even, it depends on how wide your towel is, your pubic bone, and that's great because that'll give it a little massage as well. And then on your forearms, move onto your forearms into a swings pose, draw your pubic bone down, tailbone reaches away, and pull your hands towards you. Inhale. And exhale, soften again. Roll onto your left hip, I mirror you, and roll from side to side, massaging the frontal hip on the left. Just a gentle waving up, forward, and back of the top hip. And this is not, as if I would go in with my fingers there, or you have a strong massage ball, or this is very gentle, and it does have a huge effect on your fascial system, especially those frontal hip bones we call also roundhouses. This is where a lot of myofascial meridians cross, and it affects posture and mobility in many ways in the lower and upper body. And then roll onto the other side. Keep your tailbone reaching away as you roll onto your right hip and massaging, waving the top pelvis forward and back. Rolling a little bit here, keep the tailbone long, chin slightly tucked, so in case you drop your head again. And enjoy this gentle pressure and think of the tissues, they get compressed and released again, and this increases hydration. And by pinning down the tissues down onto the towel through the weight we put on it, we pull it across the different layers, across one another. And then center your pelvis again, coming onto your forearms, and your tailbone reaches down. Lower yourself all the way down. Take your hands behind you. You can drop your head if you like. Now, reach your tailbone away from you. Your pubic bone presses, if it reaches the floor, down towards the floor or into the towel. And have the feet parallel. They don't have to be together. And now exhale, reach tailbone away, without squeezing your glutes too much. And inhale, lift your heart, lift the legs. So a little shalabhasana here. Reaching the hands away, active hands, tailbone down. Breathe here, heart forward. And then maybe you can lift your sternum and glide it forward towards the front of the mat a little bit more. Wiggle hands and toes to remind your body to detension in these areas. We can be active, but we can also be relaxed. So we don't have to over grip here, because we can still be in full expression and activated. And then lower your head, your shoulders down, take your hands next to your shoulders, tuck your toes, engage pelvic floor abdominals, and push yourself into a kneeling plank. And from here, push yourself back into a downward facing dog. You can move the towel away now. And lift your heels up, roll halfway forward into a half plank, so as if you would be stuck. So you're in a half plank, roll forward halfway. Bend your knees here in this position. Now lift your tailbone and push yourself back into a down dog. And then lift up onto your toes, roll all the way forward into a plank, stay here. Pushing into the hands. And then bend the knees, push back into down dog. Sway, roll if you like, moving your body softly, shifting your pelvis from side to side, connecting the lateral body and tensioning and detensioning as you wave the heels from side to side, if you like. And then center the feet, walk forward to the front of the mat, coming into a squat. Have the feet wide. And here we are in a dorsiflexion. So your ankles are bent and you can sway gently, reminding your body and the tissues that they can also be mobile in this dorsiflexion, in this deep flexion of the feet. So if you can, sway your pelvis, shift your weight from side to side, bringing weight onto one foot, then onto the others. Take your knees onto the elbows onto the inside of the knees. Heart is lifted. And then center here, hands down to the floor, lift your pelvis up. Center your feet, so shimmy them parallel. Spread the toes wide and fold over your legs with the knees bent. Softly drop the head. Allow any tension to relieve out of the neck. Now you probably sense now the backs of the legs, and these sensations are talking to you. Now let your breath talk to these sensations and begin to sway your pelvis side to side, opening the hamstrings, gliding them alongside each other in a very gentle, functional fashion. So waving your tail from side to side. And you maybe notice you can extend your legs slowly more and more as you wave your tail from side to side, bending one knee and then the other. And then expand your toes again. Press your feet into the floor, engage pelvic floor abdominals, and slowly roll up to standing. Take your hands forward, move into a chair pose here, lifting the pelvic floor abdominals up and moving into a limited dorsiflexion for us. This is a beautiful also back strengthening exercise because your arms are overhead and you're slightly folded. So the deep back muscles, they are switched on now. Breathe here, shifting your weight slightly onto your heels so you can wiggle your toes. I wiggle my hands too when I wiggle my toes. That was funny. And then come all the way up into a standing position with your hands on your hips, the feet parallel. Keep the pelvis upright. Now you need pelvic floor and abdominal strength to keep the pelvis as still as possible. So that's your cue now. Lift your left leg up. Pelvis is still. Bring the foot onto the inside. So you have an adduction here, and you lift the knee a little higher up. So you feel your inner thigh muscles engaged. Pelvis is upright. You're not hiking in the hips. And then lift with the knee as high up as possible. Tailbone reaches down, abdominals engaged to stabilize the pelvis. Move the knee to the side, still keeping the spine, hips, the lateral body long. And then when you can't go any further out to the side, turn your knee forward, the leg back, and as if you would want to step over a fence. So you lift the hip up. This is now your abductors active here on the side of the hip. Relax your foot. And then take the knee as high as possible back behind you. Now here, keep the pelvis upright. So rather than going into an anterior tilt, you need to engage your abdominals and then bring the knee back behind you. And you probably feel this in your hamstrings, in your glutes. And then flex the foot and push the knee back behind you without going into a forward tilt in your pelvis. Stay here, you feel your glutes engage, and then step back with your left foot behind you into a 90 lunge. So in a very upright lunge, the top knee, the back knee is in line with the back hip. Bring your left hand on your tummy and your right hand onto your sacrum. That's it. So see that your pelvis stays in this centered position, facing forward, and then sink down on your inhalation and exhale, come back up. Inhale, sink down, and exhale. As you inhale, you sink down vertically, and exhale, you have this sense you want to draw the feet towards one another, engaging the inner thighs. One more, inhale, and exhale. Now turn towards the right and extend your arms, so reaching your arms wide, inhale, and then let your arms just drop, stay in this twisted position, exhale, come back up. Inhale, sinking down, exhale brings you back up, that's it. Once more, inhale, front knee is tracking forward, and exhale, coming up, face the front, bend the front knee, and then reach your upper body forward, leaning over the front leg. So you need now stability in the back body, stability in the lateral hip of your front leg. Take your hands down or on blocks. Shimmy your back foot further away so you're in your runner's lunge here. Now, with your exhalation, you float your hips up and you scissor the thighs towards one another. It's just a little float. Inhale, you sink back into your runner's lunge and you move deeper into dorsiflexion in your back leg. So you reach the back heel away from you. Exhale, float the hips up as you scissor the thighs towards one another. Inhale, runner's lunge, active legs. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale into your runner's lunge. Now this time, you bend the back knee and extend the front leg. So that's like a dynamic sprinter here. And then shift forward again. Front knee bends, back leg reaches away, and then back again. Over the front leg, you can drop your head here. Inhale, runner's lunge, and then exhale into this dynamic sprinter or half pyramid, I call it, and then come forward again. Stay here, hands in front of you, and then shift your weight forward, lifting the left leg up. You can create a triangle with the standing foot and the hands underneath your shoulders. Now level the hips, so drop the left hip slightly down, unlocking the standing leg. You can stay here, or you can reach your right arm forward and then up towards the ceiling, opening up into Adho Chandrasana, into a half moon pose. Now dorsiflex the back leg, reaching out through the big toe base. So flexing the back, pushing out through the heel. Breathe here, smile. And then unspiral yourself again, take the hand back and down. Step with your left foot down, fold over your legs. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over your legs and roll up. Controlled pelvic stacks over your feet, and then the spine follows. Excellent. Hands to the hips, and just do little refreshing bounces here. Tiny little elastic bounces. That's it. And center again. Good, let's take the other leg. Lift your right leg up. Core, pelvic floor is engaged. Turn the right knee out to the side and hug it in a little bit. Lift the knee up. That's it. Good. Heart is lifted, chin back. So that's the alignment of your deep front line. Take the knee out to the side. Strong engagement here. And this should be active. Yeah, it shouldn't be floppy. Can you lift your knee higher? This should be like strength work. That's it. And can you bring your knee an inch back or a millimeter? That's it, to the side. Now turn the knee forward. Keep the knee lifted up. Grounding through the standing big toe. Whoop. That's it. And the pelvis is centered. Upper body is centered as much as possible. Lift the leg up. This should be like my abductors are really engaged here. And then bring it back. Controlled back, back, back. And now push the heel behind you. but keep at the same time the pubic bone lifting in the front. So there's an engagement of the deep front line and the front line, and then you push your knee back. Flex the foot, really active here, and then step back with your right foot into a lunge position, the feet hip-width distance apart. You most likely notice the opening in the front hip. Good. Take your right hand onto your belly, left hand onto your sacrum. Inhale, sinking down. Exhale, scissor your legs. Inhale, sink down. And exhale. Inhale, sink. So we create hip mobility by strengthening and tensioning positively. So it's not about creating hip mobility through melting only or gliding. We need to tell our nervous system that the body has control in active motion and end ranges too. Sink down once more. Exhale, come back up. Now bring your arms to the side, spiral over to the left, and then drop them, let the shoulders relax, but your upper body is still turning. So we have now an active spiral line, especially on the obliques, because you have no help with the hands, is your obliques turning you to the side. So your spiral body is helping you here actively. Last time, inhale. Exhale, scissor the thighs, and then turn to the front. Bend the front knee more, lean over with a long spine, belly lifts slightly. Take your hands down to the floor and shimmy your right leg back a little bit longer if you need to. Now the exhalation draws your feet towards one another and your pelvis floats up. Inhale back into your runner's lunge. Active right leg, heel draws away. Exhale, float. Inhale. Lift the heart a little bit. Exhale, float. Inhale. Last time, exhale, float. Drawing the feet towards one another. That's your core in the legs. Inhale. Now we go into the dynamic sprinter. The back knee bends, the front leg extends. You push into your front heel, folding over your front leg. And then inhalation shifts you forward again. Exhale, bending the back knee, extending the front knee. And inhale into your runner's lunge. Let's do a couple more here, slow and controlled, so the nervous and the fascial system, the neurofascial system, can keep up with the changes and the demand. For now. And then inhale into your runner's lunge. Bring your hands forward, shift your weight onto the standing leg, and level your right hip with the left. So for some of you, this may be you drop your pelvis slightly down. The standing leg is unlocked, and then you can stay here, or you reach your left arm forward and then rainbow it up to the sky, opening your heart towards the left. Breathe here, crown of the head reaches away from you, and your left hip reaches back. So lengthening the left lateral line, spiral line. Breathe into the rib cage. Dorsiflex your back foot, pushing out through the heel, through the big toe base, active inner thigh. And then bring your left hand behind you, circle it down to the floor. Step forward with your right foot, fold over your legs. Well done. And then move your feet out into a squat and sit down into a squatting position. Hands into the knees, palms together. Pause for a moment here. Take your hands down to the floor. Step back with your right foot. Keep the left foot turned out to the top of the mat. Hands down to the mat. Turn your right hand out to the upper corner of the mat so your right shoulder blade hugs the back body. Your inner thighs scissor now, so lift the pelvis as the back knee and front heel draw towards one another as we did before. Inhale, let that soften again. Exhale, draw together, float the pelvis up, and then find a midway between completely sinking into this pose and being lifted up. So an active, hip opening pose here. Reach your left arm forward and then rainbow it up to the sky. Stay there, don't go all the way up yet. Have the arm alongside your left ear. Scissor the inner thighs together, float the pelvis up, so active inner thighs, and then bring your left arm alongside your ear, bend in your left lateral body. And you breathe now into the side body here. And now sink your pelvis down, but keep the activation of the inner thighs. So drawing foot and knee towards one another, and take your left arm behind you. So you're not fully going into the fully bendy expression here, but you're still active in the inner thighs. We want to make this sacrum friendly. You can stay here with a hand either on your sacrum or behind you or on your front knee, or you can lift the back leg up. So with the standing lunges, we opened the front of the right leg, open the front of the right hip. You can also grab your back foot. You can take your head wherever it feels comfortable, but think the crown of the head is an extension of your spine. So keep your neck long. Breathe here, keep active legs, and now give your heart a little nudge so it bends back a little bit. So open your heart towards the upper corner of the room. And relax in this active multi-sensorial pose, and talk to your body with your breath. And then unwind your head, let the foot slowly go, take your left hand forward and bring your left foot behind you. You come onto all fours now. We do a leg press, so lift the shin bones off the floor. Exhale, press your shin bones and the forefoot into the floor and lift your knees up. We want to just stabilize the pelvic girdle here for a moment. Activate the deep front line. Hold, breathe. Lower the knees down, downward facing dog. Now this is now a little experiment for you. We will roll into a plank, and I want you to notice the difference between left and right. It may be very subtle, maybe not noticeable for you. So very slowly lift your heels up, curl your tailbone down, pubic bone up, and roll forward into a plank. Bend your knees just a little bit so they're floating over the mat, and push yourself back to down dog. Walk forward into a squat again. Drop your hips down. And then step back with your left foot. Right foot is turned out. Left hand is on the upper corner of your mat, turned out slightly, so an external rotation here. And then float the pelvis up, exhale. Inhale, you let it go a little bit again. Exhale, float the pelvis up, drawing the inner thighs towards one another. And inhale. So you're not shifting as such the pelvis forward, like your body forward and back. It's an upward motion almost. So you're really pulling the front foot and the back knee towards one another, and you feel the thighs switching on and helping this lift. That may be minimal for you, maybe a bit bigger. Now find a middle way here. So you're not all the way dropped down, you're not all the way up. So find an active pose here, reaching your right arm forward, rainbow it up over your head. Now bring the arm alongside your ear, inner thigh scissor, and come into a side bend here. That's it, breathing into your right side body. You can also droop the head over your head, your arm over your head if you like. And then bring your arm overhead and back behind you, spiraling your upper body to the side. And you can either stay here, drawing the inner thigh still together, or you lift the back foot up, hold on to your left foot, and you either keep the head facing forward, and your left hand is slightly turned outwards. This allows the upper arm and the shoulder girdle to open in the front. And then chin is tucked, and if you like, you can spiral your heart up towards the ceiling. That's it. You can turn your head towards the side or the ceiling if you like. That's it. Breathe here. And again, if we're in uncomfortable moments in life, let's breathe into that. And your knee, your front knee is turned out a little bit. So it's falling out to the side. And then let the foot go. Take your arm forward again. and step back with your right knee into a 4-point kneeling position. Again, hands under your shoulders. You can also come onto your fists. Press the shin bones into the mat and hover the knees. Push the hands into the mat and reach the crown of the head away from you, your tailbone. I am shaking a little bit. And then drop the knees. And with the knees closed, move into a child's pose. Take your fists in front of you and stack them. Let your head rest, or you can bring the head fully onto the ground, whatever feels comfortable for you. Few breaths here. And then roll up into a kneeling position. Sit up onto your knees. You may want to underlay them a little bit. We bring back a little bit hydration here. Sit back, fold from the hips, long spine. So it looks like this. With a long spine, you fold from the hips. Your pelvis shifts slightly back. And then you curl the pelvis, as we always do in the cat poses. You drop your tailbone down, pubic bone lifts, and you glide your pelvis forward in the tissues in the front of the hip. Inhale, fold in the hips, sit back. That's it. And then you curl the pelvis. So tailbone drops and pubic bone lifts, and you roll up and unwind the spine. Let's do this one more. Inhale. Exhale, curl. And then take your hands forward and up. Move them into a V shape. And then lift your heart up. Move your heart up. Inhale here, bit of a spine extension, back bend, active in the back body. And exhale, sit back onto all fours. Bring your feet in front of you. Slowly roll onto your back. And press the heels of your hands, so the bottom edge of your hand, onto the top of your thighs, moving the thighs away from you, tractioning the spine a little bit. Allow the breath to support the opening. And let it go. Hug your knees in for a moment. You can have your head resting on the ground. Just give it a little hug. And from here, you can move into a savasana pose, either with the knees bent and falling towards one another. This is beautiful to release psoas. This is the constructive rest pose. Or you can also extend the legs, whatever feels comfortable for you. I would not go into a diamond shape of the legs, because we did some hip opening and we want to now integrate what we've just done. Not let the body guess anymore, but completely absorb. Not just absorb what we've practiced, but also absorb what we just let go of, what we opened. Allow your breath to do the settling of the body and mind, naturally flowing through. And if you like, you can stay here in this Shavasana, in this integration, or you join me waking up the body, wiggling toes and fingers, stretching yourself out, making yourself long, doing any movement that your body asks you to do, or it just does, most likely. And then you can either roll over your side or into a rolling like a ball to come to a seated position. Take your time. And wiggle and smooth yourself into your own seated body if you're seated. Again, let your breath flow through, moving through the spaces of your body. Soften and allow yourself to rest in your back body. And then bring your palms in front of your chest. Take a moment to remember the soft intention of letting go and reintegrating. And then bow your head to your heart, to your center, to the earth. Thank you for practicing. Have a lovely rest of the day with happy hips.